Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to a report by the Canadian Press, prominent groups representing Canadian writers, actors, and filmmakers have fiercely criticized the federal government's decision to halt new Canadian content, CanCon, obligations for foreign streaming services. The controversy arose after Culture Minister Mark Miller announced that Ottawa is directing the broadcast regulator, the CRTC, to review its recent mandate. The May 21 directive would have required foreign streaming giants like Netflix, Amazon, and Apple to invest 15% of their Canadian revenues back into local Canadian programming. Prime Minister Mark Carney defended the government's retreat as a consumer affordability measure, arguing that enforcing the mandate would trigger price hikes for Canadian subscribers. To offset the loss, the government pledged to invest $600 million directly into the audio and audiovisual sector. However, industry organizations, including ACTRA and the Canadian Media Producers Association, expressed deep disappointment. ACTRA National President Eleanor Noble accused the government of caving to pressure from American big tech companies, transferring the financial burden to local taxpayers while doing little to protect consumers. According to a report by the Canadian Press, Canadian labor unions are strongly opposing potential reforms to the Canada Labour Code that could weaken collective bargaining and strike rights. Following the federal government's 5-week consultation period that ended on May 25, organizations like the Canadian Labour Congress and the Canadian Union of Public Employees are urging regulators to preserve the constitutional right to strike. The main point of contention is Section 107 of the Canada Labour Code, which grants the Labour Minister power to intervene in labor disputes to maintain industrial peace. The government has increasingly used this provision to end work stoppages through binding arbitration, notably during disputes involving Air Canada railway companies and West Coast port workers. Unions argue this frequent intervention tilts negotiation power toward employers. Consistently, business experts suggest that intervention is sometimes necessary to prevent severe national economic damage, especially in the crucial transportation sector. Some propose alternative solutions, such as implementing automatic 90-day cooling-off periods or designating transport workers as essential services to ensure supply chain reliability. According to a report by City News Everywhere, Prime Minister Mark Carney announced that the federal government will launch a public consultation process this summer regarding the proposed expansion of the Billy Bishop Toronto City Airport. Speaking at a press conference in Toronto, Carney emphasized that he has not yet formed an opinion on the project, noting that comprehensive evaluation processes must be completed first. The expansion plan, which includes extending the airport's runway, is a subject of debate. Ontario Premier Doug Ford has expressed strong support for the project, claiming it would secure billions in private investment, create thousands of jobs, and improve safety without taxpayer funding. However, local Spadina Harbourfront MP Chai Nguyen voiced concerns over potential environmental and community impacts on nearby parks and waterfront areas. Additionally, Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow expressed frustration over the lack of a detailed business plan from the Toronto Port Authority. Carney stated the upcoming consultations will address resident feedback, environmental issues, and economic factors before any decision is made. According to a report by the Canadian Press, Nova Scotia experienced a significant surge in physician recruitment during the last fiscal year ending March 31, 2026. The Provincial Health Authority welcomed 278 new doctors, representing a 10% increase compared to the previous year. Of these new recruits, 111 are family physicians and 167 are specialists. While the province saw a positive net gain of 199 doctors, it also lost approximately 79 physicians who either retired or left the region during the same period. Notably, about 40% of the newly recruited doctors were internationally trained. Recruitment from the United States saw a particularly remarkable increase, with 33 American doctors joining Nova Scotia's healthcare system in the past year, up from just 12 in the prior fiscal year. This influx of foreign and American-trained professionals highlights the province's ongoing efforts to strengthen its healthcare workforce amidst national shortages. According to a report by the Canadian Press, advocates for Black Canadians are calling out Prime Minister Mark Carney's government for launching a new Diversity and Inclusivity Council that completely excludes Black members. The council, which replaces special envoys previously tasked with combating Islamophobia and anti-Semitism, has faced swift backlash. Jean Augustine, the first Black woman elected to Canada's House of Commons, stated that the government's decision snubs the accomplishments of Black Canadians. Additionally, Amnesty International's representative for English-speaking Canada described the exclusion as a major oversight, suggesting that the fight against racism has become a lower priority under Prime Minister Carney compared to his predecessor, Justin Trudeau. Advocates also noted that the government neglected to explicitly cite anti-Black racism when announcing the council. Nicholas Marcus Thompson, co-chair of the National Employment Equity Council, urged that such a diversity body should report directly to Parliament rather than a federal minister to ensure greater autonomy. Neither the Prime Minister's office nor Heritage Canada immediately responded to requests for comment regarding whether a Black member would be appointed. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.